When last we left off, the party had cleared out the Elven Citadel, taking out the lone air elemental that called it home, and found a secret room to hide in and sleep through the night. And they wake up the next morning feeling refreshed.
I like that.
Right, so really I think this is only a temporary stop on our way to try and find Gruumsh. But wizardly types, magicers, would you like to do a little experiment before we hit on the road?
What kind of experiment?
Well, everybody head on up to the tower and I'll show you what I mean.
Sure.
Okay.
And basically, when we get up there, old Knell will sort of explain his theory about the tower with spells. Could be an asset or something to help us when we do eventually fight the orcs. And I'll cast fairy lights in the tower to see if it gets that massive way it did last time.
Okay. You guys make your way up to the tower. There's still a lot of rubble and debris blocking up the staircase, but you guys managed to make it up okay. Most of the loose stuff has fallen to the ground floor now, so it's not as dangerous to climb up. And you cast fairy fire in there, and you do see that the lights are amplified, and that the lights from the spell seem to go out a great distance away from the citadel. As the sun is coming up, you can see it's even more illuminated than usual.
Oh, that's cool. I'm going to cast Mage Hand and see if there's any difference.
Me too.
Okay. You don't see any difference in the Mage Hand spell.
Can it go further than 30 feet?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry?
I asked if it could go further than 30 feet.
No, it appears to function as normal.
Can it lift more than 10 pounds?
Nope.
No. Can I ride on it and play a lute?
I assume you're more than 10 pounds, so...
No. But they can in Critical Role.
Well, that's good for Critical Role.
All right. Well, Gruumsh. That's his name, right?
Yep.
He sounds like an evil orc-like guy. But all orcs kind of have that scary names about them. But
give me an insight roll.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Bolga has taken offense.
Oh, Bolga, I'm sorry. It's just like they sound harsher than my people's names. Maybe that's what I meant. Please, I'm sorry, Bolga.
Apology accepted, little one.
I should be more sensitive to other people's cultures. I apologize. Okay. Well, let's go after Gruumsh, who's obviously lost their way.
Before you do that, Denier attempts casting a couple of cantrips just to see if there's any change. And his light cantrip does the same thing. Like when he casts it, it bathes the land for great distances. But his other cantrips, he can't. He doesn't really notice any difference with.
Are there any markings on this tower, Ryan?
You can give me an investigation check. Ooh, 27, very nice. You scour the area looking for any kind of runes or writing or anything like that, and you don't see any. There's nothing visible.
Does Denier still have his light spell up?
Yep.
Denier, how far do you think people can see that for?
Oh, I'm not sure. Probably quite some distance. To see it, perhaps even from the horizon.
There are windows in this tower?
It's not so much windows as it is open arches.
Are we able to see the landscape outside of the tower?
Yes.
I am looking as far away as I can for anything moving.
Okay, give me a perception check.
Probably not, but okay.
Nibbs,
Can I guidance myself on that?
Sure.
Can I help him?
You can make your own perception check if you'd like.
Okay. I'm actually, well, yeah, maybe I will. Oh, never mind. But I'm kind of the reason I think I failed that is because I'm kind of frowning a little bit, thinking about, wait, maybe we should turn that light off. We don't want to announce ourselves to Gruumsh yet, do we?
Probably not.
Ulnan, you cast guidance and look out over the land with Daenerys' light spell helping to illuminate it. And you feel like you are seeing a little better than you ought to. And you are seeing signs of animals moving through the forest in the early morning hours. But you're not seeing anything like humanoid. Like there's no orcish or goblin patrol parties or anything out there.
I am looking for something small that is well outside the range that my Eldritch Blast would typically go.
Okay.
And I am going to try to blast it.
All right. You are an elf, aren't you?
Yes. Half elf.
That'll do. Your eldritch. You can roll an attack roll, please. You watch as your Eldritch Blast flies far, far into the distance and hits something small, and it keels over dead.
What did he hit?
You couldn't even see it.
Okay. So do I know he just killed this poor innocent creature of the forest?
I don't know. Ulnan, are you telling them that you killed some poor innocent creature of the forest?
So, I have just discovered that whatever this thing is that's affecting how well this light is working and how well that light show that you did was working, it appears it affected my Eldritch Blast also.
Ulnan, can you give me a wisdom saving throw, please? All right, you're fine.
Did he notice anything like happen at that point? Like, did he was he cognizant of that check?
I would say yes. So Ulnan, as you cast the spell, you felt almost a presence weighing on you as you cast the spell and launched it out. But it didn't have any kind of negative effects on you or anything.
And one other question, Ryan. You said he noticed animals, and we haven't been noticing animals.
Well, you guys just noticed some dire wolves the other day.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Just to be a little bit clear, the reason I did it that way was because Eldritch Blast specifically says target a creature that you can't use it to hit inanimate objects.
Yeah, that's fair. But if he finds out that it's like an innocent little squirrel, there might be some role playing that happens. I'll try to keep it as unoffensive as I can.
If it's not asked, I'm not going to say anything, so we're good.
Yep, that's exactly the track I'm taking. He has no problem killing animals for food, though.
So does that mean that there is some kind of commonality between the spells it appears to be affecting and the spells it isn't, whatever this thing is?
Like maybe it's you have to be an elf?
Daenerys is not an elf.
Oh, never mind.
Are they all evocation?
Then.
Sorry, what was that, Jodi?
Are they all evocation? Is light an evocation spell?
Light is evocation.
And Eldritch Blast, I'm assuming, evocation. Dancing Lights?
Is also an evocation.
So, I'm thinking it might be related to the School of Magic.
Dancing Light's an illusion.
That I'm not thinking that.
Is it? I thought I was just looking at old Knell. He cast the spell, and it says it's a legacy evocation cantrip.
Oh, maybe what I'm looking at is the stupid 2024 stuff.
Yeah, Dancing Light should be evocation.
Yeah, it's changed in the new version. In the version we're playing, it is evocation.
As is Fairy Fire.
So, might have something to do with the School of Magic.
Well, I do believe this was a defensive position, was it not? Perhaps the elves, enchanted it in some way to make it more defensible.
Well, I do maybe have one other thing to contribute to that then, and old Knell will cast his last evocation spell, which would be a Globe of Darkness.
And where are you casting it?
In the tower.
Okay. It does not appear to be affected in any way. It's the same size and consistency as always.
Now that's confusing. So, question for you, Ryan. Wynn is very smart. Smarter than me.
Okay.
Is there any chance I can make an int check to figure out the connection?
You can give me an Arcana check.
That's even better.
You do speak Elvish as well, so take advantage on that check.
So I think 25 is my high roll.
Yep. So through trial and error and looking at various things, it appears that the tower here has been specially crafted to enhance some spells and abilities. You do believe there may be some components that are affected by Elvish ancestry. It appears to not distinguish between what type of elf it is, as you've seen a dark elf and sea elf both casting spells and having them affected. Also, through your experimentation, you would discover that ranged weapons used by those with elven heritage have twice the normal range and no disadvantage at maximum range.
Wow.
Ooh. You got a word Gruumsh here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe put that light back on.
If we could get that fight to be here, that would be much to our advantage, I suspect.
Do I have an idea on which spells? Because you said some was affected by Elvish heritage, but also some specific spells.
Right. So spells of light that bathe would normally affect a smaller area are greatly magnified to illuminate the area around the citadel, to give advantage to elves against especially enemies who are sensitive to sunlight. So if they had a daylight spell, it would affect enemies rather strongly. And offensive spells that have ranges appear to also have extended range so that they can attack or defend themselves from attackers from
Further away.
huge distances. Yeah.
Cool.
Neato.
Well, friends, I think that it is a smart idea to lure Gruumsh here, perhaps. I think he has had time to acquire some forces. But, perhaps before we jump the gun, we should think about shoring up the defenses, make sure we can't have the gate breached instantaneously, and figure out where we're going to make our stand. It's not like we have the forces to hold the wall or anything.
That's true.
Well, and to be honest with you, I was more thinking we'd try and lure Gruumsh here without all of his forces. Try and give him something to come on to without, incentivize him to come here with just a small bodyguard that we could ambush and carry the day against smaller numbers.
I do think that would be ideal. Even still, I think perhaps we should figure out how to fortify this and, make sure we have that spot to ambush him at.
I mean, we found a bunch of gold. We have the world's best Castellan, and old Knell will give Bolga a slap on the rump. Why don't we, if we, trust in Bolga's management, we can send her back to Nordgard with some of the provender here, and she can try to hire some masons.
I like the idea of that.
How much? I forget how long it took us to get here. A day or two, right?
Let me measure the distance again.
Took us 2 days, I think, although we had the benefit of a wagon.
Yeah, it looks like you guys left on September 15th and arrived at the end of September 16th. So it was 2 days travel for you guys.
That is a good idea, friend. That would mean we'd probably be about 5 days round trip to get our our new masons back here, and another several days probably to get the repairs done. I wonder, should we, in that time, maybe do some scouting and see if we can find what we're up against, perhaps?
I'm not very good at scouting, but if there's animals out there, I think a couple of us can talk to them.
That sounds like a fine plan.
I'm just worried that this plan to shore up the defenses with masons and stuff like that will give Gruumsh too much of a chance to build his army.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think we should wait. I think we should plan to do this as well, but I kind of am with you. Waiting's not good with these guys. They just get stronger.
From what you've seen of the Citadel as well, most of the stonework is in good shape. It's just this tower where something fell through the roof and collapsed a bunch of stonework down. But otherwise, the stonework is in remarkably good shape.
How is the gate to get in here? Is there anything or any way we could feasibly close it, bar it, or block it?
Yes, the gates are still there.
Okay. Yeah, I do agree that we should probably move with haste. He is getting stronger by the day, I expect. So if we're going to try and lure him here, you think maybe we should see if we can position our wizards up on the top of the gate so that we can fight right in front of it?
I kind of want to be in that tower.
That's true.
The only trick is how we get him here alone. Because I think that if we assume that he's not very smart, we might be underestimating.
Yeah, that's true. I actually wouldn't think that he wasn't very smart. I think maybe more arrogant is the play. And I also don't know that we can make any real plans about how to lure him here until we see what we're up against.
Well, I'll volunteer for the scouting party.
Well, it kind of sounds like we're all agreeing, just maybe in different directions, so to speak. So it sounds like the action points is this. We should decide how much money Bolga is taking back to town. We should decide if we are going to linger a day or two to try and create some sort of barricade around the gate to try and, cut down access to it. And then it sounds like we want to firm up our plan for how we're going to lure Gruumsh. Everybody in agreement?
I think so.
Oh, Quartermaster, how much gold do we have to potentially spare for castle building?
Looking up 1 sec. We have 10,500 gold, and a lot of it in silver.
Holy geez, 10,500?
On October 16th, we got 10,000 silver, 1,400 gold, and 110 platinum. I have two entries from the 16th of October, that one and one that's 6,000 silver, 1,200 gold, 120 platinum.
Yeah, there was a chest and there was the air elemental stash.
So last game we have, just from the cash we got last game, we've got 12, 24, 28, 38, 48, 49. Yeah, we've got from just last game, we've got just about 7,000 gold.
So how do people feel about just dedicating 1,000 gold to that and seeing how far that gets us?
I agree with that, but I don't know that we need to send 1,000 with her. Not that I don't trust her. We can always send a down payment and tell them that when they get here, they'll pay the rest, right?
Lad, that's genius. I wouldn't have thought you knew how contractors work. Yeah, half up front, that sounds good.
Well, it's, trading is something my people do.
All right, then. So we send Bolga with enough money to recruit some help, hire them, and bring them back here. After that, perhaps we should send a group out to see what we're up against.
Ryan, what's the story with this castle in the local history? What do people tell stories about this castle? What's the...
No, this castle has been forgotten to time.
Okay.
So who wants to be on the... Oh, go ahead, sorry, Ryan.
Sorry. So what types of people are you sending Bolga to hire in Nordgard?
I guess we don't need masons because the walls are in good shape.
Except for the tower part. Getting up to the tower is not in great shape.
Yeah, the roof and general area around it are definitely in need of repairs. So you will need some stonemasons.
So I guess if we got
Why?
like a stonemason, 2 stonemasons, and like a carpenter.
Why? Why do we repair the tower?
To get into it easily?
And if we're making this our base of operations, be nice to have it in good repair.
Okay. I just didn't realize it was going to be our base. I just thought it was just a staging for a fight. Yeah, well, I guess if we're going to make this our base of operations, then yeah, we should repair the tower. I just was thinking the really important thing are the defenses, which are still operational. If we can clear, maybe just us could clear enough space to make traversing to the tower somewhat safe. And then we don't have to hire anybody. We just go beat up this guy.
So then, how about this? Maybe one or two mace of the bigger, but more so anybody that wants to live out in the woods. Hunters, woodcutters, maybe 1 or 2 people that are looking to make a home out in the woods by themselves who would be happy to grow us vegetables in spring or something. People who can start turning this into an actual base for us.
We need hippies.
We need hippies.
All right. Bolga, with that sense of what you're looking for, will take 500 gold and go looking for hippies who want to live out in the bush in an ancient citadel.
And a couple of stonemasons.
Yeah.
Or at least one.
Who are also hippies. Oh, sorry. All right, then. So, who are we going to go out and look for Gruumsh with?
I think all of us.
Yeah, do you think perhaps we should leave our wizardly friends here, Denier and, I can't remember his name, and the goblins, and then the rest of us go out hunting?
Denier and Sirher would be fine with that plan. And the goblins offer to start picking stuff up and hauling it outside of the citadel if it looks like it's broken, like old tables and cabinets and stuff like that.
Excellent. All right. Well, shall we get hunting, friends?
Before we do that, when we've made the decision to give Olga, is it Olga? What's her name?
Bolga.
Bolga. When we made the decision to give Bolga the 500 gold pieces to go back to the town, I would like to roll an insight on her at that moment.
Okay. Yeah, you don't really get any kind of read on her.
Okay.
Is Nibbs questioning our decision? Are you suggesting this is an awful lot of trust to be putting in Bolga, or is that just are you keeping it to yourself?
No, keep it to myself.
Serious question. If the goblins aren't coming with us, can somebody carry my backpack, please? Because it's too heavy for me.
I will have trouble with that.
I will.
But we could leave some things here. We could leave some things here that we don't need to have with us on a scouting mission.
I think scouting mission, but possibly prepare in case something happens mission.
So my encumbrance level is 30 pounds. I am currently wearing 24 pounds between armor and weapons and my thieves' tools. My backpack weighs 45 pounds. I could get rid of rope. I could get rid of rations, but unless somebody's offering to cuddle up in a sleeping bag, I'm sorry, I'm kind of very feeble.
We don't have many strong people, do we?
Nope.
Yeah, I was going to say, I usually play a strong character, and she's not.
Does this mean we take a goblin with us?
Carrying 45 pounds, I would still be unencumbered, it looks like. I am confused.
Do you have your character sheet set to normal encumbrance rules instead of variant encumbrance rules?
Okay.
It's fine. You know what? Old Knell is done with we don't need this level of consternation. I'll just leave the backpack and all of my survival tools behind, and you guys will take care of me and prove how much you love me.
I have his encumbrance set.
Well, then you should switch that to variant encumbrance, because we use variant encumbrance rules, because Ryan is sadistic like that.
Yeah, that would make me heavily encumbered. Sorry.
No, all could.
Yeah, I think the trouble, friend, is I'm also at the limit of what I can carry. So, guess we're gonna have to make some difficult choices.
No, it's all good. I'll just leave my backpack behind, and you guys are responsible for feeding me and keeping me warm at night. It's all good.
Nibbs apologized for his tiny, tiny muscles.
Me too.
We'll also tell Bolga to bring us a team of mules while she's at it.
That's a good plan.
That is a good plan, yeah.
Okay, I've added that to the list.
No more whinging. To the bush we go.
All right, you guys head off out of the Citadel, and Bolga waves farewell as she heads back to Nordgard, and she disappears from sight almost immediately because she's a ranger and she can walk there just as fast, stealthily as she can normally.
Sweet.
So, where would you guys like to head off to?
Do we have a direction?
Do we have one of Gruumsh's items?
No, you don't.
Okay.
North and east.
I think we should go in the fastest direction to Gruumsh. Which direction is that?
It's very helpful.
You did speak to an animal a while back that mentioned that he was east of the river.
So we will have to cross the river, is that right?
Yeah.
And I think we keep talking to animals as we find them.
Okay.
Nibbs and I can trade off.
You guys can give me some survival checks to find some animals as you make your way.
Also, see if they know a good place to cross this river. I'm unfamiliar with it.
I'm helping you
Oh, thank you.
because you're better at survival than I am.
Helped a teeny bit.
It helped enough. Yep, there are animals in the woods. Even before you get all the way down to the river, you do spot some critters.
Do you want to, or do you want me to?
Nibbs says you can.
Okay. So I cast Speak with Animals.
Okay.
What kind of animal am I talking to?
It'd be something smallish, probably like a hare.
I say hello and explain that I mean no harm. I'm a friend, and I'll offer a small bit of a ration, so that because it's probably hungry with all that's been going on.
Can you give me a persuasion check, please?
And I will back away from the food so that they have a chance to get that without actually having to get close to me.
Okay. You back away, and you see the hare approach very cautiously, ears twitching, and kind of its mouth drawn back, showing off its teeth. Kind of looking fierce.
I don't mean you any harm. I was just hoping I could talk to you. We're trying to find something scary so that we can go make it less scary.
It hops forward and takes a nibble of the food and says, "You look pretty scary."
I'm trying to be friends. So I'm sorry. I didn't know I looked scary. Nobody's ever told me that before. The scary one I'm looking for is, and I'll describe as much as I know of what Gruumsh would look like.
Okay. The rabbit or hare continues to eat and watching you closely.
I'll settle onto the ground cross-legged just so that he knows I'm not making any sudden moves.
Okay. Can you give me a perception check?
Is this a killer attack rabbit from this is a verbal bunny, I'm in trouble.
As you get lower to the ground and get a better look at this hare, you note that it's mostly got brown fur that
it's got red too, doesn't it?
Would camouflage with the surrounding area, but you do note an undertone of red.
Oh. Can we fix this? Like, did we figure out about the wolves how to fix it?
Nope.
Oh, poor bunny. How long have you been angry?
Not sure exactly what you mean by that.
You have interesting red fur and you bared your teeth at me. We saw some wolves that had fur like that and were angry, and so I thought perhaps you might be like that as well, and that might not have been your natural state.
Well, that sure does sound rude.
Wasn't my intention.
The hare quickly gobbles up the rest of the food and hops away at full speed.
Are there any other animals that I can interact with in the next, I believe, 10 minutes?
Give me another survival check.
Is Nibbs helping again?
As a bonus action.
Oh,
You do manage to find a cardinal up in a tree. As
That's sneaky of you, Ryan. It's red already.
Oh, yeah, I guess it is. And it's just sitting there watching you as you're walking through the woods.
I'll say hello to it as well.
Eh,
Did it hear my conversation with the rabbit?
No, this is a ways away from where you spoke with the rabbit.
Ryan?
Closer to the river. Yes.
I'd like to try speaking birdfolk to it, see if it understands.
Okay. What are you going to say?
Hello, majestic. What was it again?
Cardinal.
Cardinal. Your feathers sure are red today.
So the bird ignores Tia, but when you speak birdfolk to it, kind of looks at you curiously, Nibbs. And give me a persuasion check.
That's pretty persuasive.
Well, thank you for the compliment.
I was wondering, somebody who is clearly as astute as you, did you happen to see anybody wandering through the forest that doesn't belong, with maybe larger than my friends here in stature, but with green skin maybe and bulbous nose like an orc? Do they have a word for orc in bird folk? Probably, eh?
Yep. He says, "Oh yes, I did see someone that fits that description. It was up by the citadel, up on the mountain there."
Oh yes, that's actually a friend of ours, a particularly good orc. But I was wondering, have you seen any groups of them? Maybe over across the river?
Not myself, but I have acquaintances who claim to have seen a great deal of activity.
Oh, I bet birds come from miles around to tell you what they've seen.
Well, yes, we do tend to get around a fair bit. But what's in it for me?
Oh, well, that's a good question. Let me see. I don't suppose you'd be interested in any of my rations, which my rations would probably be very seedy and stuff like that, because like he is a mouse. Does he have normal rations or no? Yeah, he probably has normal rations. Yeah.
Yeah, you'd probably have some seeds in there too. Yeah, the cardinal would accept seeds as payment.
Okay. Well, I hand over my seeds, and I arrange them somewhere where the cardinal doesn't have to can guard them and eat them at his leisure, like in a nook of a tree or a little hole in a tree or something like that.
Okay. Once you've placed the seeds, the cardinal flies over and samples some of them. It's like, yes, quite delicious.
Well, I'm glad that this meager fare meets with your approval. You were saying that your vast network of friends might have some information as to where this this group of orcs might be?
Yes. According to my friends, they are across the river.
Do you know how many there might be?
It is difficult to say. I have heard that there is an entire flock of them.
Oh, that would be disturbing. It is our intention to deal with them and remove them from the land so that the forest might again live in peace.
Oh, well, if it's peace you're looking for, best of luck to you.
Oh, you don't like peace?
Oh, it's not that I don't like peace, it's that these forests and woods have never been peaceful.
Well, you're true. There is the law of the forest. But back to normal, maybe.
Yes, well, orcs are part of the norm out here, but a few less of them would not hurt my feelings at all.
Okay. Well, I didn't get a name from you. Did you have a name?
Yes, my name is Vincent.
Ah, Vincent. Well, it was an absolute pleasure to meet you, and you're absolutely a cut above the cardinal population. It was really a pleasure, and thank you very much. And I wish you utmost success in your life.
Thank you.
And he'll kind of give him a little polite bow and turn and go back to his friends and tell him what he learned.
Nicely done. You're way better at that than me.
Well, between you and me, you have to kind of primp up the birds a little.
Good to know. Good to know.
They especially like it when you compliment their feathers.
Oh, I get that.
Well,
Like having
it
a fancy dress.
sounds like if there's a whole flock of them, we should be able to find signs easy enough if we get across that river.
I agree. We're going to try to, I was thinking about how we could lure him back to the location. If we sent one person without any god items or anything like that with a message to say that, we'll meet you at that castle thing there to possibly trade for god items, but he has to come alone. What do you think?
I think that person would be walking into deadly peril.
Yeah, I don't think any of us are going to bring the message. I think we just need to find some orcs and send one of them back to their war boss to deliver a message for us.
I like it. Let's do it.
I can work with it.
All right, then let's find our way across this river.
All right, so you guys make your way down to the river, and you see that there's actually shallow areas that would allow fairly easy crossing for all of you.
Before we cross the river, I just want to take a look at the bank and see if I can see any signs of orcs or see if there's anyone watching the river crossing or anything like that.
Okay, give me a perception check.
I'd like to look too,
Okay,
Can I as well?
of course.
but I am too busy looking at my toes.
Yeah, you guys don't see anything around the river.
All right, friends, I say we proceed with caution from here out. We don't know where he might be exactly, he might have watching.
How wide is the river?
It's quite wide. It's going to take you a while to walk across it, even at the shallow point.
Okay.
So you guys get to the other side of the river. Nothing of particular interest happens as you cross. There's nobody waiting on the other side to ambush you or in the river or anything like that. So you make it across, no problem.
I like that. Do we want to keep seeing if we can look for more birds? That was really effective.
Birds, critters, other humanoids, orcs. Let's just keep looking until we find a campsite and run out of daylight.
Okay, we'll look for animals and campsites.
All right. You can give me survival checks. All right. When you do manage to catch sight of a trail, looks like a small four-legged creature that's came down to the river and then moved back into the woods.
Is it heading in the direction we think we want to be heading?
Well, it is across the river, as are you. So, yes.
Hey, should we follow it?
May as well. I don't see any other clues.
We'll do that.
All right. You make your way forward, and it's pretty easy to see as you make your way in. You do catch the flash of a red tail off in the distance.
No birds, though, right?
Nope.
Am I able to tell what kind of tail?
That would require a nature check.
Not my best day.
You're pretty sure it's a fox.
Cool. Probably a fox. So
What kind of fox?
I just got fox.
It's a red fox.
Possibly
I
red is
rolled
naturally or friendly.
I rolled a 17 for my nature check.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, and you know that there are red fox in this area.
Notice Ryan is giving us all sorts of red creatures.
Hmm.
So we'll continue following the red fox.
Okay. It doesn't take you long. You find it kind of cuddled up under a tree, and it looks up at you, startled as you approach.
We don't get too close. Nibbs, I can only do that once a day, so I can't do it again. Are you able to talk to him?
Yeah, I'll ritually cast. I'll try to ritually cast to speak with animals.
Okay. So the fox doesn't leave. You give it enough space so it feels comfortable.
Yeah.
And so you cast the spell and are able to speak with the fox.
Hey, thanks for not leaving while I learned how to speak to you. How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm just fine, thanks. Just went for a drink and a bite to eat at the river and saw you lot following me. Interesting that you can speak with me. I thought perhaps it was going to be a hunt until you stopped.
Oh no, we're not hunting you. We're actually just looking for some information. And we're willing to trade it for some food if you like.
Like I said, I just ate. We'll see what it is that you're after. If it benefits me, then it benefits me.
Well, I'm sure that you've noticed that there's been some orcs in the area.
Not really.
Oh, well, there is some in this area to the east, I guess. And they've been kind of bothersome to some people, I think. And we were hoping that we could go and deal with them and get them out of the creatures of the forest way.
Oh, I see. Well, I see the odd orc here and there from time to time, but I wouldn't say that they're any great threat. I can outrun them easily enough.
True, but they hunt the same things that you do. They hunt the fish, they hunt the rabbits, the bush rabbits, and they're competitors for your food source.
Perhaps if they were in large enough numbers, that would be true, but as I say, it's rare that I even see them in these parts.
Oh, that's interesting because I talked to a bird who said there was a whole flock of them to the east here.
Oh, really? The bird knew directions? That surprises me. They're not known for being terribly bright.
No, maybe that's true, but well, we will probably just continue to the east then. Thank you for your time. I feel like I pull out one of my rations and kind of open it a bit and let him smell it and say, I can place this somewhere where it'll keep for a few days till you're hungry again.
It's fine. I enjoy the hunt.
That's fair. Okay, well, thank you and have a great day. Nice tail, by the way.
Thank you.
And the fox trots off into the woods.
And I relay everything I learned.
Do we think, like where we were, Ryan, was there two directions we could cross the river, east and north? That's what it kind of looks like from what I'm seeing on the map.
The rivers, the river to the north of the citadel didn't have any natural crossings like it did to the east.
Right, but a bird wouldn't care about that.
That's true.
I asked Nibbs if the bird gave any indication of which river.
No, it didn't.
That's a little bit of a concern.
Well, perhaps we go half a day in the east direction looking for information, and if we don't find anything, come back to here, and then tomorrow go across the other river. What do you guys think?
Sounds good.
Okay, you guys continue traveling, and it's past midday when you get to this point, and you do see more animals the deeper you get into the woods.
Birds?
Yeah,
And I
there's-
have this for an hour so that I can talk to people. So,
okay. It would have expired before you found anything.
okay.
But yeah, there are birds. You see tracks for hares and deer, more fox, boars, lots of different stuff in the woods here.
I don't know, guys. I think if there was a large group of orcs around here, these animals would be a little bit more scarce.
Are you able to double check with any of the birds nearby?
Let me try. I start trying to talk bird folk to some of the birds.
Okay, give me a persuasion check.
Oh, I'm very persuasive.
You sure are. Through your conversations with birds, you discover that you are on the correct side of the river to find the flock of orcs. But you don't get a sense that they're nearby. It sounds like if you followed the river north, you would come across them after a while.
Well, I think that's what we're going to do. Or what do you guys think? Or since we're headed in the right direction?
Can you ask your little bird friends if there's any smaller flocks close by, like a group we could ambush?
Oh, yeah, good idea. I asked the bird that.
Yeah, there's individuals and small groups of orcs all through the woods. That's if you just wander through the woods, you'll eventually find tracks.
Okay, that's what we'll do. I would like to help Wynn find tracks.
Okay. Wynn will try and look.
If only she had some guidance from some wiser individual.
Ulnan, are you going to cast guidance?
I still struggle with guidance because of the 1 minute time frame, and if someone's doing something that takes longer, can it be guidance? Then blah 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 guidance.
Right, yeah, this is taking longer, but you can just continuously cast guidance whenever it's needed.
In that case, guidance.
And add a 3 to my largest roll.
All right, so you guys follow the river, and by this point, it's getting close to evening when you do see some humanoid tracks in the mud by the river.
Okay, maybe we should pull back, find a campsite, spend the night,
Set a good guard.
set a really good guard, and scout out tomorrow morning. What do you guys think?
I can work with that.
Yep, I think so.
Okay, give me a survival check to find a good campsite.
I would like to help you with that.
Guidance.
We find an abandoned mansion with filled with alcohol and anything we could need.
What you find is a dense area of forest with a nice natural bowl, so it gets you out of the wind and out of sight. It's a perfect spot to camp.
Sweet. Do you have our watch order, Ryan?
We're going to need a new one because you don't have the goblins with you.
Right.
I will take middle watch.
I'll
The
take
one nobody
first.
wants.
I'll take first. With somebody, ideally. Like, we have 6 of us, right?
Yep.
Can we do pairs?
I don't know, not with... I think you have to have a minimum of 4 shifts, don't you?
Yeah, usually you'd want 4 shifts so that everybody is only taking 2 hours.
We could also just take a little bit longer in our night to make sure everybody gets that. Or do we want to just have a single person?
Not for nothing, but you do have a full-blooded elf to trance, rather than... So, I can take 4 hours rest, 4 hours of watch.
Which would let us pair up quite effectively.
I
Have you
think
thought,
that's
Well, we'll see. I've got Tia on first, Nibbs on third. I still need someone for second and fourth. And then Old Knell would be able to, I guess, have a couple.
I'll do last watch then.
I could do the second one then.
So we'll have one watch that only has one person. If Ulnan takes 1 and Old Knell takes 2.
Take first, please.
I'll take the latter half.
So, Akai, you're going to be alone on second, is that right?
Yeah.
I guess.
Okay. So is there anything that you guys want to discuss either before camp or during watch?
Try and commune with the moon.
Religion check?
Don't
Yes.
say anything when I roll it, because I might
I'm
use
on
my
watch
divination die.
Since I am on watch with them, can I guidance?
Sure.
I think we'll see if that stands.
Okay. That is very good. You do manage to connect with the essence of Saloon and your items. What would you like to ask them tonight?
How much can I ask them tonight?
You'd get one question.
What do we need for the moon to return?
For you to grow and to find us.
Thank you.
And the connection ends.
Sounds good.
Anybody else?
Sure, I'll try to commune with her, Moon. No, I'm kidding.
Does any of old Knell's watches overlap with Tia's?
No, I
No.
go first.
Okay.
I do ask for people to pay attention if the little moon is there.
There is no little moon.
Who's the first watcher that I'm sharing a watch with?
Nibbs.
Well, I do plan for that when Nibbs and I are up than anybody else before us.
Oh, okay. Tia and Ulnan, was there anything else that you guys wanted to do?
I have had my connection with my armor, right?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm just keeping watch.
Okay, your watch passes uneventfully. Hakai, you're all by your lonesome on your watch. Is there anything that you wanted to do?
No, not particularly. Just obviously, if Wynn passed on about the whole moon thing, I'll keep an eye out for that. But other than that, just hope nothing happens.
Yeah, I'll share information.
All right. Your hope comes true. Your watch is uneventful.
Yay!
Nibbs and Old Knell are next.
So after like a few minutes of being on watch, circling around talk, Old New snap the finger guns at Nibbs and say, "Right, you got this." And Old Knell is heading off into the woods.
Okay, bye.
All right, Old Knell, what are you doing off in the woods by yourself?
Finding a secluded spot with an opening in the upper tree level, something that lets see the night sky.
Okay, that's not a problem.
Old Knell is just going to sort of look around a little bit. He's going to, just kind of scout the area. He's going to scan the night sky as hard as he can, trying to, as you've already established. He's going to sigh and then shuck off all of his clothes. And when he is standing in night air, looking up at the sky, he's going to mutter something about, I bloody hope this is actually doing something instead of just making an arse of myself. And he is going to do a dance in the moonlight, thinking thoughts about the moon and how this is the moon. If you'd like, I'd be happy to throw a performance.
I would like that. Thank you.
24.
Wow. Yep. Your fluid movements are second to none. You grace the night sky with a beautiful dance. Unfortunately, it has no effect on there being a moon or not, or anything along those lines.
With a roll as good as that, I think Old Knell is really having a bit of a transcendent experience, and then when he kind of finally stops, maybe a little bit sweaty and out of breath, he's gasping and he's looking at his hands and his old shriveled and wrinkled body, and he's sort of having a bit of a moment there where for a moment he felt like the him that he remembers in his memories and his dreams, that young, strong individual that he remembers, albeit doing terrible, awful things, but just that feeling of power and strength. And now that moment is gone and he's confronted with the reality of his frail self, I really do think that there's maybe a moment there where an invisible viewer could maybe see him just kind of his mouth twist up and maybe his breath hitches a little bit if he's holding back a sob, but he'll get dressed and come back to the camp and give Nibbs the finger guns and say, "Well done, lad. You passed the first test of not letting the camp die while I was gone."
No, I'm kidding. Oh, thanks. I actually think it's time to call the next watch. You think?
Yeah, sure.
All right. So Deacon and Old Knell are on the last watch. Anything you guys want to do?
Not particularly, just to say that, sorry, let me clarify again. Kai has that ring on her, right?
Is it
Did
a
last
Kai?
time.
I thought it was one of the goblins, or did things get changed around?
I thought that they were worried about me doing something and gave it to a Kai because she was more defensible.
I'm just gonna check my thing here. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't see it in her inventory. I'd have to go back and double check that.
Okay. Should we just make a call? Do we want to say it's on one of the goblins still?
Sure, because my memory was that someone told the goblins to let them know if Deacon continued to act weird about it or made any moves on them. But I could be wrong.
I vote that Akai has the ring because that creates more drama.
Drama.
Because I think, if I'm remembering right, she had Lathander's golden sandals that gave her an athletics boost, and she didn't want to trade them.
That is correct.
Maybe, sure.
Okay, great. So then in that case, Deacon, he just springs out of bed, and he is looking like he is refreshed and happy like crazy. He just seems really chipper.
Sounds good.
Other than that, that's all I wanted to...
Spring in your step, cowboy. What's got you feeling so happy?
Oh, I finally got a good rest last night. I'm not entirely sure what it is, but I've sure been eyeing that ring those goblins have recently. It's just been making me think some bad thoughts.
Well, I'm glad that you're feeling better. Question for you, Deacon. About that helmet of yours. We haven't ever really actually tried very hard to get it off. I mean, if you're happy with the horns, they do suit you. You're really handsome and all that. But do you want to try and get the helmet off?
I think that if we had a good item for me to use, I would prefer to use that. But as it stands, I don't think it's hurting me any. But, I'm indifferent to this helmet or this tiara or whatever it is.
I mean, I'd be happy to give you my braces if it would make you more comfortable, but it really does sound like you're ambivalent to it, so fine.
Yeah, at this time, it doesn't really matter. I'm not a good-looking man anyway.
Oh, who's been telling you nonsense like that?
Never did have too much luck in the romantic department.
Really? Strapping lad like you? What you like?
Well, I'm not really sure. Whatever I can get at this point, I guess.
No. You're gonna need to have more standards for yourself than that, lad. If you don't stand for nothing, you'll get nothing.
Well, to be honest with you, friend, I'm not really looking to have any romantic entanglements at this time. I think I gotta, find my way first, or help with this God's War and get that done.
Mate, that could be the rest of your life. Literally. I mean, who knows where all of this adventuring is gonna go? Whatever. It's fine. Just the next time we find ourselves in civilization at a local or something, I'm gonna wingman you, because that's just not right. You're gonna get all pent up and start missing your arrow shots or something.
He's just gonna chuckle and clap you on the shoulder and say, "Well, that sounds great, my friend."
And that's it for our watch.
All right. The night passes uneventfully, and you all wake up feeling mostly refreshed in the morning. Oh, I will say one thing, Deacon. I just have to check something here. Yeah. You noticed in the night that you actually felt like you could see a little easier than what you normally can.
Okay. Do I have it just kind of strikes me and it seems odd, or I was like, oh man, I noticed this and now I'm thinking about why it might happen?
I'll leave that up to you.
I think at this point he probably doesn't think too much of it. I think maybe he's thinking he's farther away from the ring, so he's just feeling better.
Okay. So in the morning, you guys going to check out those tracks that you saw the previous evening?
Yippers!
Okay. As they were in mud by the river, they're pretty easy to find again, and you can track them from there.
Okay.
So I'll take a survival check, please.
Am I getting any assistance from anyone?
Guidance.
Tia, do you have to re-roll your divination dice because
Nibbs,
you got a long
I
rest?
do. Awesome. I'm going to re-roll my divination dice first, Ryan.
Okay.
Oh, those are handy.
Yeah, that's really good. A 19 and a 3.
I'm going to use that 19, and there's the guidance.
Okay, I just need to check something quickly. Yeah, okay. I just wanted to make sure that could be used after the fact on a roll, and it can. So you
28 total.
Yeah, that's more than good enough. You find that the tracks head back into the woods, and you come across a campsite that looks like it's been abandoned for a while.
Can I tell how long?
You'd figure probably the previous evening.
And can I see tracks from where the creature went?
You can give me another survival check.
More guidance.
And help.
30?
Well, that's ridiculous. Yep, despite the fact that the campsite is fairly well worn and there's several sets of tracks, you do find the most recent set of tracks that are heading up north towards the river.
We shall follow.
Okay, so you spend a few hours walking along the river. Can I get another survival check, please?
Guidance.
Help.
29?
Right. So, despite the fact that the orc heads into the river and there are no tracks for a little while, you do see where they come out a short way down the river, and you can see that there's the remains of a meal of fish. It wasn't cooked, and then the trail continues north.
We continue.
I am going to use this opportunity to take up a more orcish appearance.
Okay. And so you head north, and I'll get you to give me another survival check.
Guidance.
25?
All right. The tracks continue north until you get to the shores of a lake. You can see that the orc stopped here for a while and appears to have been fishing and whatnot. There's more evidence of dead fish in the area, and then heads back kind of southeast towards the woods.
2 questions. Can I tell how far we are behind him, and have we seen any other orc tracks?
You haven't seen any other orc tracks, and it's evening now. You would guess that these tracks would have been made the morning of this day.
So about 12 hours behind.
Yeah.
So I share all of that with the rest of the group. Do we continue in the night, or do we rest and try and catch up tomorrow?
Honestly, we can try and press on, but it seems like this fella is pretty mobile. Perhaps we would be further ahead to go in a different direction. Sorry, is this a singular orc that we've been pursuing?
Yes.
Also, one orc on their own is probably not one of the scouting groups sent out by Gruumsh.
That's true.
Well,
Is this lake we were at Corpse Float Lake?
No, you've left Corpse Float Lake behind. This is a new lake that you don't know.
Well, I think that you are likely right that it's not maybe a scouting party from, Gruumsh, but this is the only track we found thus far. And maybe this guy does know about Gruumsh's party. I think maybe we should keep following it.
I've no better ideas. I will bow to the party's wishes.
Okay. So you continue following the tracks into the woods. Can I get another survival check, please?
Guidance.
Just assume I'm helping, okay?
Sounds good. 25?
Yeah, you do see that it appears at one point that the person you're following attempted to hide their tracks, but you have no problem catching where the trail goes. But as you stand up from examining the ground, you see a ferocious orc drawn by the sound of the guidance spell, spear in hand, staring at you with its fangs bared.
I let out a small shriek.
And the orc that is standing beside her will look at him and in Orcish, stop.
Okay, give me a persuasion roll.
So what would be the difference between, they're the same for me, but what would be the difference between intimidation and persuasion in an instance like this?
Intimidation would mean that you're trying to scare the orc into stopping, whereas so it's more of a hostile gesture. Whereas if you're just trying to persuade them, then it's more friendly.
And I'm going to use my inspiration.
Okay. Yeah, it can't beat that. So it stops its attack and looks at you, is still not with any measure of trust, but it's not. It's at least not racing in to try to fight you.
This will all be in Orcish, so no one else is really going to, I guess, have a clue necessarily unless they speak Orcish. We are on a pilgrimage to Gruumsh.
Well, first off, give me a deception roll. You deceptive jerk. Okay, 24 is good. He looks at you and then looks at your traveling companions curiously before saying, I'd heard that Gruumsh was gathering non-Orcish allies as well. Had no idea there'd be so many that they would even outnumber the orcs that are bringing them. Well, that's your purpose is exactly the same as mine. I travel to the Lake of Gatherings to meet with Gruumsh and offer my allegiance.
That is where we head also.
Well, I've just awoken for the day, or for the night, to travel. Would you join me, or are your companions more suited to day travel?
The weaklings have difficulty in the dark, unfortunately.
I suppose their kind could be useful to Gruumsh in daytime assaults, at least. Can you give me actually, everybody could give me perception checks.
You said, am I rolling at disadvantage or am I out of the...
No, you're not in full daylight anymore.
I'm oblivious.
Wynn, now that the initial surprise of the situation has faded, you note that the orc appears rather thin compared to what you might have expected of a race of warriors that values strength and physical prowess.
I am also paying a little more than is healthy attention to him.
Okay.
Am I smart enough to pick up on the body language of the two of them to know that at least Ulnan has been accepted as an orc?
Yes, that is obvious. Like he dropped his aggressive posturing right away.
I will grovel and tug at Ulnan's sleeve and say in Elvish, he looks hungry.
Have you hunted for food yet?
I've been fishing along the way.
You are fully rested. I see no reason that you should have to wait for us. If you wanted to carry on, we will be along once they are ready, with a little bit of convincing.
Nibbs is going to say in Celestial, who understands this?
Tia will look at you blankly.
Deacon's going to look over at you and wink.
I thought we were just going to send him a message from this orc. Like, should we just not just tell this orc to go? And
Well, and in Celestial, I'll say, well, friend, I'm not exactly sure what this conversation is going on here. I think we just have to let.
Yeah. Sorry, I medded there. I forgot. I can't understand what you're saying.
That is something I struggle with quite often too. So
Yeah, no worries. All right. Well, if you're letting the orc go, he'll say, "Well, I'll see you at Gruumsh's camp soon enough, I'm sure."
Letting the orc go? Whoever said that?
I'm just hoping he turns his back so Knell can backstab him into Thursday.
Oh, yes. When he turns to go, he is going to one-way trip to Knife City.
All right. Well, he does turn to go at the end of the conversation.
Welcome to Knife City, sneak attack on you.
This would be a surprise round, so go ahead. I imagine he will die.
A couple of things to be announced. So because he is surprised, that means that with my Assassinate class ability, I have advantage on attack rolls against any creatures that haven't taken a turn, and any creature that is surprised, it becomes an automatic hit roll. An automatic crit. I've tried to post it. I don't know if it's showing up in...
Yep, I see it.
Awesome. So let's just throw out a couple attack rolls, have a few laughs. Yeah, so I just imagine old Knell just kind of runs up behind the guy and is out of nowhere just stabbing him a few times. So here comes one attack.
14 will hit.
The offhand attack.
And a 15 will hit.
And the action surge, another attack.
A 26 will hit.
So here comes all the critical hits.
The second hit drops him. Or actually, the first hit would have sneak attack dice on it too. So I'm sure 12 plus even your minimum sneak attack would probably drop him.
He has jaw drops.
What the hell was that? What happened?
Well, now we're going to send a message. We just need to send the right message. Who has some rope?
Deacon's going to chuckle and toss you my length of rope.
Could somebody build me a nice big bonfire, please?
Good with fire.
While this is happening, I'm actually going to apologize to the group for the small amount of disparaging them I did during the conversation that they weren't aware of. I give them a rough, condensed summary of what the conversation was, and what Knell did was pretty much what I was hoping for.
See?
Yeah. Coleman, by the way, friend, you're not going to hurt my feelings. I think I know what you truly think. I think you played that quite well, by the sounds of it. And I agree with not letting him get to the camp. I think it's better they come to us.
Oh, he's going to get to the camp. It's just going to be on our terms. The only thing that's going to take Gruumsh out to where we want him to be without, bringing an entire army down on us is if we can incentivize it, give him something that he really wants. I imagine he wants his god items, but we don't know what those are. So I don't want to make a bluff about promising him something we don't have. So instead, we promise him something that he'll think we do have.
Which is?
Gods. Who wants to be Tempest?
Oh, I think Michael just stepped away. I think you want to wait that question for just 1 second. He's volunteering, but he's not quite back.
And who wants to be a pretty drow lady?
I could be, or you could be, I think.
No. Need somebody else. Don't worry, I'll take care of the lying.
I don't think I have the bone structure.
You might consider... Oh, go ahead.
Just gonna say, I guess that leaves me.
I could. Just gotta show me what you want her to look like.
Imagine me, but female and sexy. Although, honestly, Tia, do you think you could do Malikli?
It's hard to imagine it with all the saggy skin.
Oh, you get a glare for that one.
Oh, I'm sorry. Was that insulting? I just thought you guys naturally did that.
And I
It's
would
like-
have to wait till tomorrow.
That's okay. He's not going anywhere, as old Knell hog-ties the orc painfully. And yeah, if a Kai is willing to let me do some work, and will hold up Ulnan's disguise kit, I think you'd make a right dark elf.
I also do have disguise self, but I'm happy to go either way.
Tia, do you think you could do Malikli?
I can do anyone you want. That helps that I've seen Malikli, yeah.
And then, okay, so Old Nell's basically assigning roles. Malikli for Tia, Tempest for Ulnan, and if you'll allow a disguise roll, I would like to doll up a Kai to make her look like a drow.
Sure thing.
Sure.
What time of day is it right now? Evening, right, Ryan?
Yeah.
I'm assuming we want to find some place to camp first?
Sure. What ability check would I use for a disguise roll? Would it be charisma or something else?
That's a good question.
I suggest charisma because of deception, but you tell me if that's wrong.
That's where I'd put applying good makeup.
The internet suggests dexterity for a disguise kit, for creating something detailed and specific for passing off as a particular persona.
Yeah, okay. I mean, that's even better than my charisma. Here comes a die 20 plus 7.
Okay. What I would say is, since do you have proficiency in using disguise kit?
I'm an assassin, baby, so yes.
Okay, then you can add your proficiency bonus.
Yeah, that's where I get the 7 from, so a total of 18.
All right. So that will be the difficulty for somebody to notice she is not a dark elf.
And old Knell is totally coaching a Kai and being like, no, you're walking like this. And he does like some like awkward stompy walks. Dark elves walk like this. And he throws some hip into it and does like a strut.
Man, oh man.
Deacon's just going to give him a side eye and be like, you must have done this before, eh, mate?
You know, it all feels right and natural. Can't explain it. No memories.
Nibbs pulls out his pan flute and gives you a...
And old Knell gives you the blue magnum smolder.
Oh, you know who's good at that? Blue steel. That's what we call it around here. Blue steel.
Oh, excuse me. Yeah, whatever it is from Zoolander.
Yeah.
But okay, yeah, basically if we find ourselves a little campfire away, we'll get ourselves set up for some play acting. The goal is we're going to basically have the orc hog-tied in an awkward position, so he's like has to crane his head up in order to see anything. I'd like Tia and Ulnan disguised as Maliki and Tempest to be tied up in view of the orc. He cranes his head. And I'd like Akai as the drow to just sort of loom in the background. And I'm going to tell everybody, look, if you can trust me, and I know that's an ask, when he wakes up, let me do the talking. I think I can apply the pressure needed to get Gruumsh to where we want him to be.
I totally missed that those were non-lethal damage.
I did too. I totally missed that too. I was like, what? It's still alive?
Roll back the tapes. I said knocking him out at some point. I know it.
All right, I'll trust you. Okay, in that case, I need to roll a d4 to see when he wakes up.
While these conversations are happening, I'm going to suggest that you tell him that the orc that you were with was also killed and thrown in the bushes.
No, mate, doesn't matter. Because, I mean, it's always just going to be one big lie. And so, just trust me. I've got a scheme.
All right, so you get Akai dolled up. You don't actually have a whole lot of time after that before the orc wakes up.
So when we notice him stirring, we'll just sort of do like a quick places everyone, and we'll get everybody set up. And
I can't be Milky today.
Kick him in the head until he goes back to sleep.
Okay.
You, sir, shall be unconscious for another 8 hours. Thank you for your cooperation.
Nice.
I think there's like a Geneva Convention against this.
I'm a Canadian. We wrote the Geneva Suggestions.
Yeah.
Suggestions.
All right, so you guys are going to find a campsite and do a watch order for the night then, while you keep the orc unconscious?
Why not?
All right.
Oh my god.
Same watch order as last time?
Yeah.
Okay. Can I get some survival checks for campsite?
Guidance.
I had done one. That's the latest survival.
The 21.
20, plus 2,
Plus
23.
23. Yeah, you find a good spot. It's actually the spot that the orc had used himself. So it's not too far from where you were, and looks like it's a pretty decent spot.
Charm person can be used on orcs. Yes? No?
Yeah. All right. So that wasn't good enough. So 2 hours in. So at the end of Tia and Ulnan's watch, can I get perception checks, please?
Spatula.
Oh, and could I have tried to commune with the moon again? I can do it after my watch, too.
Yes, you can.
You want me to roll now or wait?
You can roll now.
Oh, I'm distracted.
Yeah, that's okay. So yeah, nothing happens on your watch, and it is then Akai on her own. Kai, can you give me an insight roll, please?
Okay.
No.
Oh, God damn it.
Well, that's a pile of... Yeah.
Well, you couldn't have failed that. You get up for your watch, you go and take a look at your prisoner, and realize that he is pretending to be asleep.
I guess I try to hit him? To knock him out?
Alright, yeah, that's no problem. You don't even have to roll for it. Like,
Okay, good.
He's still tied up and stuff. You just smack him one and he falls back unconscious.
Perfect.
And the rest of your watch goes by uneventfully. Nibbs and old Knell. You guys are about halfway through your watch, and I would like you to make perception checks, please.
I would like to use my bardic or my heroic. Can I? Oh, actually, you know what? I can give myself bardic inspiration, can't I?
I think it only lasts for 10 minutes, though.
Oh yeah, never mind. Right, yeah, that's right. It's not bad.
Yeah, you both notice that the orc's breathing patterns change. He grunts a little bit as he tries to move.
Old Knell is going to go over to him, seize him by the tusk, like wrap a finger around his tooth and yank his head up. And I'm going to just whisper in his ear in a completely different voice than any of you would have seen old Knell use before. And like his accent changes completely. And he says, "Do not fear, blunted one. My mistress will be here soon." And then he's going back for another nap.
Okay, you can give me an insight check before you knock him out. Yeah, you don't really notice anything too focused on your own drama. And you pop him one and he goes back out. And he remains unconscious for the rest of the night. So you guys wake up in the morning, and the orc is out. You can do all of your disguise stuff.
So to set the tableau, we have the orc face down in a hog tie. We have a fake Tempest and a fake Maliki tied up together by the bonfire. We have a lady drow standing nearby, and yeah, that's kind of what I want the orc to see when he wakes up.
All right. So yeah, you guys have time to do all of those disguises and stuff. And an hour after you guys break camp, the orc begins to stir, and he sees exactly what you want him to see.
And old Knell, again speaking in that strange voice, is going to say, "Back home you would be called a blunted one, because you have not yet been honed into a tool that can be used by society. Back home you would be worthless as you are, a broken slave not suited to any task. But you may rejoice, for your life may be given some purpose, serving the great lady Sira." And I will gesture over to Akai. And then I will kick him in the stomach, not designed to knock him out, but just to cause him pain. And I will snarl, "Avert your eyes, scum." She is not for you, the likes of you, to look upon. And then I will kneel in front of him, grab him by the tusks again, and just sort of like strain his head up as uncomfortably as I can towards the tied up duo. And I will say, you will tell Gruumsh that my lady has gods for him, Tempest, god of war, and Maliki, god of the forest. You will tell him that she will give these gods to him to take their lives and gain his own power. And this will be the basis of the alliance between Sira and Gruumsh. And you will tell him that Sira knows where Loth is, and where Loth is planning to bring the Dark Elves against Gruumsh. And it is only with her intervention that Gruumsh will survive. You will tell him that if he does not come to the old elven fortress, Inferno Citadella, with 10 of his bodyguards, then he will die screaming in the dark as the Dark Elves sweep over him, and we will laugh as the god's game goes on without him. You will tell him these things. If he comes to the fortress with 10 of his guards, he and Sira will negotiate, and the lives of Tempest and Maliki will be his to do with as he pleases. If we see more than him and his 10 guards coming, then Sira will kill these two, and we will be gone to the Underdark long before he ever finds out where we were. Say this back to me, Blunted One. Tell me the message you are going to.
Oops.
Everybody can give me insight checks while old Knell is going through this. Yeah, so if you rolled higher than a 10, you would know that this orc is absolutely terrified right now as he looks up at a dark elf. And he, when you ask him to repeat back, he just kind of stammers. He has no idea. He's been so afraid that he hasn't absorbed anything of what you just said. Yeah.
Old Knell is going to sigh and is going to stick a knife blade in his nose, like just, gently in his nostril, not cutting anything yet. And he's just going to say, repeat after me. Gruumsh to meet Sira at Inferno Citadella.
Gruumsh, meet Sira, Inferno Citadella.
I'm going to shove the knife in just a little bit tighter and say, if he comes with 10 orcs, Sira will give him Tempest and Maliki for his own to use.
Only 10 orcs with Gruumsh. He get them too.
Say that.
Maliki will whimper.
Maliki and Tempest. Say it.
Maliki and Tempest.
If he comes with more orcs, he gets nothing and will die screaming.
Don't bring more than 10.
Loth is coming.
Loth is coming.
Good, Blunted One. Good. Say it all again. And, does he seem capable of saying it all again now that we've made it a bit easier? Because I'll coach him. I'll tutor him as long as it takes.
He has some of the stuff down now. He's forgotten the name of the Elven Fortress. He also doesn't remember Maliki's name, but he at least got Tempest.
When it becomes clear that trying to get him to deliver the message altogether pointless, old Knell is going to take his knife and is going to cut the symbol of Tempest and Maliki into his scalp, and is just going to say, there, now you can point at your head, you idiot. Go.
He's quite unconscious.
Oh, okay.
I think Nibbs is going to probably start heaving.
And with that, performance over. Let's make the camp disappear. Let's untie him, and let's start running back to the Citadel. Old Knell seems quite oblivious to how you guys might perceive him after that performance.
Well, Maliki is just shaking tied to the tree for a while, so that might give you a clue.
Yeah, I think Nibbs is totally like stunned, like he's not even moving. I'm not offended in any way, shape, or form. But it just like at that last little bit of carving it into his forehead, I was like, that's a little over the top for Nibbs.
Yeah, no, Vinny, absolutely. Old Knell really seemed to get caught up and kind of possessed by what was going on. So if you guys want to say something or confront him, please jump on in.
Wynn's just never seen that side of you before. And no way in hell is she saying something about it.
Yeah, I don't think Nibbs would have the nerve to say anything right now either.
Deacon's go after we, I guess, get moving, or once the orc's we're out of earshot of the orc, and we're all moving. Deacon would go up to Old Knell and be like, "Friend, I understand why you did what you did, but that was a little dark, don't you think?"
Well, yeah, I mean, maybe, but, if we're trying to lure Gruumsh with the offer of an alliance with an evil god, just thought we might have to fit the part, Just kind of felt right in the moment. Honestly, I'm not sure how to respond to Deacon's, very gentle criticism. Do you want to put it down to a roll? If you want to, roll to see how diplomatic or intimidating you're being right now, or...
Nope, let me just continue. Deacon says, "Yeah, friend, I understand, but that all seems just a little bit too natural to you. I know you don't remember much, but, are you sure you're all right?"
Look, Deacon, I'll come clean. I've been having some very frightening dreams lately, and I am feeling off. It's strange. I know it's me. I look like me. I feel like me, but I'm so much younger, and I'm in the Underdark, and I'm hunting and being hunted by other drow, where we're running across stalactites and up cave walls, and it's kill or be killed. They're all coming after me, but I feel powerful and strong, fast, and I don't know. I don't know who I was before I woke up in the woods and met Ulnan, but maybe I'll just let who I was before do a little bit too much just then. Do you think I think Old Knell's going to look back at the party. Do you think everybody's mad at me?
I'm going to look back also and say, "Well, friend, I think they're much shook up, but I think they'll get over it. But I want you to know, it's not who you were. I believe everyone gets a second chance. I believe it's how you go forward and your decisions now that make who you are. I think maybe just be a little careful on it when you dip into that dark spot."
You're right, mate, and I appreciate it. I think I'm going to have a long, hard think, and I think I'm also not making any more plans anytime soon. This all seems to just come way too easy, and you're right. Looking back on it, I'm kind of scared where it took me as well.
Well, friend, you know what? I think that you have some good ideas. I think maybe before we do it, we should talk about it with everyone. That might help tone down the situation, so to speak.
Yeah, fair. Thank you, Deacon.
All right, then. Let's get through this together, all right, friend?
Yeah, thanks, friend.
And with that, Deacon is gonna just kind of go back and let Old Knell be on his own, I guess, to think his thoughts.
Old Knell may notice that Wynn is a little skittish.
I mean, based on what you guys are saying, it kind of sounds like everybody's kind of giving me the side eye.
I'm not as much.
Deacon's going to go back to Nibbs and Tia, and because I'm assuming I would notice you're a little skittish too.
Yeah, and we probably would have kind of gravitated towards each other, noticing that we're probably both a little thrown, or maybe intimidated is a better word.
Yeah, that's...
And I'm going to go back and say, hey friends, you look a little shaken. You okay?
I just never saw that side of Old Knell before. Yeah.
I've never seen that side of anyone.
Me neither.
Well, I think Old Knell has some demons in his past that he is wrestling with. I believe
demons?
Well, in his mind, not actual demons.
Oh, that's a relief.
but I think his heart's in the right place. I've asked him to perhaps tell us what he's planning to do before he does it next time, and maybe we can help him get through this.
Well, the whole plan was smart. It was just unanticipatedly effective.
Yeah, the world can be a little rough. I've seen a bit of that out on down south. But I asked him to maybe run that by us beforehand.
Is he okay?
Yeah, I think he's going to be all right.
Well, that's good.
My pa always told me that knives were always double-edged. When you use them on somebody else, you cut yourself.
Yeah, friend. I think your pa was a wise man. And you know what? I think that might just be what old Knell is dealing with right now.
I'll go check on the bonds of the unconscious orc. Make sure he's not going to be like waking up and have like black arms and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll check on old Knell. Nervously, but she'll go check on him.
I mean, old Knell is just kind of brooding and sulking. What form does the checking take?
Really tentative, kind of scared. Are you okay?
I don't think so. I kept telling everybody that the angel in the woods told me to go out and do some good. And he's looking at his hands and he looks back at you. I don't think good people do stuff like that.
It was kind of scary.
I'm sorry if I scared you.
That wasn't because I needed an apology. It was just telling you what the situation was like. I wouldn't have even known to think of most of those things.
I mean, most of the whole, love is coming to get you are just based on what Maliki had told me about Drow and our deity and such. I figure the only thing that we could really tempt him with safely is the idea that he could kill other gods. We could make an alliance off of it, but, we'll see if it works. Might be we see his army coming and we have to run like devils are after us.
We'll see, but it was a good try and a good idea. How can we help you?
Keep an eye on me, I guess, and just, the next time I say I have a plan, maybe make me share that plan first. And if you get in touch with your moon powers and, become more of a god moon, maybe just pray for me.
I talked to them yesterday, and I think I need to find more of my items.
Do we have a notion where they are?
I do. They aren't very close, but I'll check on them. I'll keep trying to find out more.
Well, maybe after we sort of take care of our business in the north, we can start looking to the south to take care of them.
Some of them are north, but I'll try and get a better idea so that by the time we're done this, I can figure out where they're at, where the closest one is.
Well, okay, and thank you, Tia. Thanks for caring.
Yeah, that didn't seem very much like you, but also you seemed very comfortable there.
Yeah.
All right. Does anybody else want to have any discussions before you start your travels for the day?
I think that sounds okay.
All right. So you guys make your way back south along the river. The day passes uneventfully. Get survival checks for a campsite that night.
Today is not my day, but I can push it all the way up to a 10.
All right. You do find a spot in the trees. Nothing nearby that looks particularly great, but you find a spot that's fairly clear, and you can set up camp.
Sounds good.
Of course, the one time you roll really terrible in survival, I roll super low, and nothing happens that night.
Excellent.
All right. So you guys continue your travels the next day, and that would bring you back to the Citadel.
Oh, we had a long rest in there. I'm just going to replenish some hit dice.
Sounds good.
And I just did wins rolls.
So that was 4 days that you guys traveled. So when you guys get back to the Citadel, there's no sign of Bolga or any new people. But Daenerys and Sirher and the goblins are there. You would find that the goblins have cleared out a bunch of miscellaneous broken wooden items from the citadel proper, and that's about all that they've done at this point. A big pile of broken stuff.
All right, I guess we should prepare for Gruumsh's arrival.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking we could maybe try setting up some traps. Once they're inside, maybe we could try and seal them in, and maybe do something nasty like pits or stakes or anything. But now I'm really questioning myself, so I'll let you guys sort of tell me if any of that's untoward.
That sounds like good defensive stuff.
All right. So where would you like to set up the traps?
I think if we can set up something to try and seal the main entrance of the citadel, if somebody tries to walk in through the gates, basically once they're inside, we can close them off and make sure they're not getting back out. And then if we just designate little fun time things in the hallways, I don't really have anything that would be good for making traps. And I don't really know what we could do other than little trips and maybe set up spikes on the floor and try to trip into them, stuff like that. Does anybody have any cool ideas that they want to try?
I have some alchemist fire.
We could definitely put that in a bucket and get it to drop on somebody's head.
Well, I think I'd like to set up inside the tower, and if I could have those goblins helping me reload, I might be able to lay down some fire from up there.
We'll hang out with you too. In other words, I don't want Deacon to be left alone with the goblins right now.
That's fair.
Sorry, Deacon.
Nice try.
He is absolutely not offended.
All right. So you practice with the goblins. They have no problem reloading crossbows, so they can definitely be by your side and help you with that if a fight comes to the citadel.
Excellent.
So does anybody have any actual supplies that would be useful for making traps in the citadel?
I have some rope. What else do I have? Oh, I gotta get back to my sheets.
Yeah, I don't have anything useful.
Yeah, I don't either.
Well, I have a shovel for making pit traps. I have an iron pot for putting the alchemist fire in and putting above a door. And I have a tinder box. Perhaps we could, oh no, that would be too hard to set up. I do have tinker tools, so that would be good for setting up traps, I think. I got a few things.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, so I will. Who's the strongest?
Ulnan with a 13.
I'll hand him the shovel.
Is this
do you think we can work on making some pit traps, and maybe we could put some arrows or something like that in the bottom in the dirt?
And you're wanting me to do it by myself?
No, I'm coming to help. I'm just thinking you'd be better with the shovel than I would, because you look stronger.
Is the shovel size proportionate to you?
Oh, well, maybe. I don't know. It's probably a shorter one. But no, I wouldn't send you by yourself.
He will let out an overly exasperated sigh and grab the shovel.
Oh, well, we don't have to do pit traps.
No, pit traps is good, mate. What else do you have in mind?
Well, maybe the door going into the oh no. I was thinking if we go into the tower, the door going into the tower, we could do the alchemist fire above it, but then we run the risk of turning the tower into a big smoke chimney.
From a mechanical standpoint, how much space can an alchemist fire affect?
I think it says in it, just one second. 20 feet. Oh, can be thrown 20 feet, shattering on impact.
But just only affects a 5-foot square?
Yeah, I think so.
In that case, why don't we set it in the entrance of the tower? If it really is that small, then the work that they would have to do to make it spread and come back to affect us poorly, by then we'll have other nasty shots to get them.
Yeah, and it actually, as soon as it's exposed to air, it starts on fire. So we'll have to just set it up to maybe maybe we could set it up with a tripwire and put it on the end of a stick, and the tripwire pulls the stick where there's a fulcrum that smashes the vial against the ceiling, causing it to rain down fire and hell on whoever's coming through the door. Crickets.
That would be pretty cool. I have no experience with doing this kind of thing.
I don't either. So, what kind of roles do you want us for, like, making these crazy traps?
Survival.
Okay. I'm going to need some help, and I can't give myself work.
Guidance.
Oh, thanks, bud. Okay, we'll start on the pit trap.
Survival, I can help you.
Okay, we'll start on the pit trap first.
Sounds good.
Is somebody keeping watch while we're doing this?
Yeah, I will. In the tower.
And just a second for guidance. That's a D4, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot. Oops. I forgot I got logged out of the VTT because of our power issues.
Well, I see the roll that you did in D&D Beyond. You got 23 plus 2 for a total of 25. So we've got the pit trap. It's set up outside of the doors to the Citadel.
Yeah, to the main gate, I think we were going to pit trap, right? Or was there...
Okay,
Well,
can you ping the map where you're thinking this is going to be?
Okay, I was thinking here, but I would definitely crowdsource this before I did it.
Can you ping that again, Shane? Yeah, I think that looks good to me.
Kind of like when you come through the gate, like you pretty much have to come over the trap.
And we tell all the people in here about it so they don't accidentally fall in it.
Yeah.
And in the tower, we don't have any kind of line of sight to that, do we?
Yes, from the tower you have 360-degree field of view.
That's exciting.
And okay, so we put the pit trap there, and then I'm thinking, is this a door or what is this? You see where I'm pinging? I'm in the main building now.
That's just an archway. There's no door there.
Okay, what's this?
That is a golden statue of an elven archer.
Okay, these are doors, right? 2 doors?
Yeah, they're iron portcullises.
Oh, iron portcullises. Okay. So the first door we really come to is over here, but let's I think this door, this archway here might work. Here?
Yep.
What do you think? And then we can set it up so that it'll break the bottle and rain down hell on them. And there's a tripwire across it. Yeah, exactly. Perfect.
Sounds good. Nice job.
Perfect.
Okay. What else can we do? How tall are the ceilings?
10 feet.
Ooh. How are those portcullises held up?
Chain and crank.
Would it be possible to rig them with a tripwire so that the portcullis will shut on somebody crossing it?
You can certainly try that, yeah.
All right. I'd like to try to set up tripwires for each one of them and disguise each one of them. I guess that's the other thing. I should roll stealth to hide these things too, right?
That's just part of the survival of creating the trap.
Okay, sounds good. Here we go. Oh, that should have been an advantage. Oh, that was terrible. And here's guidance. So that'd be 14 plus 3 is 17.
Okay.
Yeah. And can anybody else think of any traps?
Not with what we have, no.
Oh. I just thought another one. What if I'm just going to try to come up with traps until we basically run out of time. What if we set up, there's big rubble here, right? Can we carry 2 big rocks, tie them up, and set up like a swing where they swing together at this pit trap?
You can try that, yeah.
So be here and here they would swing back. Well, wasn't that decisive? So another 17.
All right.
if you wanted to maybe put a trap or two in some of the narrow corridors where people might walk by, you could do like a go away trap where we take one of my knives, stick it in a piece of wood, and you put it on like a weighted counterbalance. So when somebody walks around a corner, they hit the counterbalance, the wooden stick with the knife comes swinging around the corner and hopefully impacts against whoever came around the corner. It would probably only do like a D4 knife damage, but it's better than nothing.
Yeah, actually, I think maybe a simpler thought is just like a green bough, like put in in between two bricks on the other side, bent backwards with a tripwire on the bottom, and that thing just springs forward.
Yeah. Tell me how many you want to set up. I'll take the knives out of my inventory.
I have 2 daggers. I'll donate as well. So we'll set up. I'll set up 2 for sure. Do we want any more?
How much rope do you guys have?
I have 50 feet. Oh yeah, yeah.
If we're back at the base, I also have 50 feet because I left my backpack here.
And I have 50 feet as well.
All right. Because at this point, with all the traps that you've created, you've probably used about 100 feet of rope.
Okay, so does that include the dagger traps?
No.
Ah, okay, fine. All right, no more traps.
Well, I'll give up my 50 feet of rope. I'll take it out of my inventory, and I've taken out 2 knives. So we can set up 4 knife traps with 50 feet of rope.
Okay. All right. Do you want 4 rolls or 1 roll for 4?
One roll. 1 roll for 4 is fine.
Now use my knives.
23.
All right. So, sorry, where are those dagger traps going to be?
I think one right here, like as they're kind of coming around this rubble, we should be able to hide it in there and they could come springing up or from the wall or something like that.
Okay.
Problem is there's no corners.
What about where the hull kind of curves, like where I'm pinging around here?
I was thinking too, we could, what's the ceiling like in this place?
Rounded.
Rounded, but what's it made out of?
Oh, stone.
And is it like polished stone, or is it like fitted blocks, or
both? Like the blocks are highly polished.
Okay, so would I be able to jam a stick in between, in the ceiling to make that the place where I bend it back towards the ceiling and then it would spring down?
It would take some work. All of these traps that you're doing, if you're doing that, I'd say that would be the last of the traps that you'd be able to do.
Yeah, that's
okay.
Yeah,
so
that's
where do you want that?
So we're doing how many? 4 in total?
Yeah.
Was that right? Okay. So we got 2 of them kind of set up there. Let's set up another one maybe right here. And another choke point would be right here, right? Yeah. Because that's really the path that they're going to take on the way here, right? So, this is fun, setting up traps. I actually made this character with the intent of doing traps, because that's why I took Tinkerer tools.
Nice.
Oh, I'm doing this with my Tinkerer tools. Can I use that to survival?
You've already got
I already
proficiency, right?
Yeah, I already did. I got proficiency in survival, but it's a wisdom thing, right? Which is +4. Whereas Tinkerer's tools might be more of a dexterity thing. So it would be a different stat that it would be based off, right? For me. So I'm just wondering, not going back retroactively. I'm just wondering for going forward. Because I might come to this trap thing again. So if it ever...
Yeah. I'll have to take a look into that.
Okay, ruling to come. Got it.
I am kind of really digging this, even it costs me the whole assassin surprise round. It's kind of fun to them struggling forward against all obstacles that we set up while we rain fire down on the tower.
Yeah, from what I'm seeing, if you're using Tinkerer tool proficiency, people are saying that you could do either intelligence or dexterity But that, yeah. So I'd say either way, whichever you preferred.
Definitely dexterity. Well, that sounds good. Okay, I'll keep that in mind for next time.
Sounds good. All right. So that takes a couple of days to set up. And at the end of the second day, as it's starting to get dark, perception checks, please.
Micheal had to step away for one moment. Ryan, are you able to do a check for him?
Sure.
Thank you.
All right. So as evening approaches and it begins to get dark, old Knell, you see off far in the distance humanoid shapes approaching the river on the other side. Did I come through there?
I heard you. Do we have old Knell right now?
Sorry, I missed it. Can you repeat that?
I didn't hear it either.
So as evening approaches and it starts to get dark, old Knell, you spot movement of humanoid figures on the far side of the river.
If I can't make out from here what the creatures are, I will alert everybody as to the coming of the people, and I will stealth my way out of the fortress trying to get a better look at them.
Okay, give me a stealth check.
Oh.
Okay. So, old Knell, you head out of the citadel to get a better look. Can you give me a perception check, please?
It's night, so I'm not rolling at disadvantage.
That's right.
That's not very good.
Yeah, you actually find it harder to see once you leave the tower, which is strange. But you do hear some excited shouts from the other side of the river. And you hear some splashing as they approach.
I mean, hearing all of that, I think that, like, I think old Knell, being paranoid enough, could easily say that they are not approaching in the way that, like, a caravan of builders and helpers would approach us. I think I'm going to beat it back to the fort as quickly and quietly as I can, suspecting the worst.
Okay. So you head back into the citadel, and what are you going to tell the others?
Warfooting time. I think our guests are here, and I don't think it's our helpers. Wizards to the tower. If you want, I can send the lights out, try and save you all a spell slot, and illuminate our foes.
I'd like that.
Then yeah, in that case, not only will we, like, get to the tower, but I'll also cast a spell. I will, rather than dancing lights, I will specifically cast fairy fire in the hopes that the tower's, how it heightens the spells, in the hopes that it will engage with the rest of, like, fairy fire's abilities, in that it will outline items in light if it fails the dexterity saving throw, sending the post.
Isn't doing this, committing to this prior to them getting closer, just going to have Gruumsh run?
I mean, if Ulnan is going to raise that opinion, then I'd say, I mean, maybe. What do you suggest, mate?
Cast it when they're here. Not now. That's a good call.
And seems to be focusing fire on him once we identify him.
Okay. So you guys are going to wait until they get up to the citadel?
I guess, yeah.
Like, to be clear, Wynn is not going to start shooting first, so she is counting on somebody else to be able to make that call.
Ryan, is there a way that I can be up in the tower level so I can see what's going on? I can't really see anything.
Yeah, unfortunately, you won't be able to see what's going on.
Can I move myself outside so I can see, but, like, I'd be up in the tower, so I really feel like I could see. You know what I mean?
Okay. Unfortunately, yeah, you don't have dark vision. It is nighttime now, as they approach. So unless somebody lights it up, you're not going to be able to see anything.
I do have dark vision. Am I able to see 360 from the tower?
You can see 360 from the tower, but your dark vision is still limited to 60 feet. Yeah.
Sounds good.
I am going to ask Denier that once the trap starts springing, because I'm assuming that that we'd be able to hear that rock trap or whatever, that he cast his light cantrip and then light up the area so we can.
Yes, he will definitely do that.
Excellent.
Do we know who's initiating our combat?
No answer was our quick reply. Oh dear.
I don't think we do know that. Like, it'll be, like they said, it'll be when traps start swinging or start getting triggered, and then we'll have to do initiative rolls and such.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I think as soon as they kind of get inside and the light goes on, I'm just going to start firing. So.
All right. So everybody is up in the tower, waiting with bated breath as Gruumsh and his forces approach. And I think that's where we're going to leave it for tonight.
Perfect.
On tenterhooks.
And not halfway through combat? That's nice of you. Thanks.
Yeah, because I imagine this is going to take a while.